If you're a wife, I have a tip for you. Shut up. That's your tip. You don't always need to talk. You don't always need to fight. You don't always need to be combative. Sometimes you just sit down and figure out when to talk.
Tradwives are at it again. She's saying that if you're a wife, all you need to do is shut up. You don't need to talk. You don't have to talk when your husband comes back from work. All you need to do is just shut up. You don't need to demand respect. You don't need to even share your opinion. Learn to be silent as a wife. Let me show you all this video.
If you're a wife, I have a tip for you. Shut up. That's your tip. You don't always need to talk. You don't always need to fight. You don't always need to be combative. Sometimes you just sit down and figure out when to talk. Figure out when to zip your lips. Because as a woman, you shouldn't be stepping into a room demanding respect, and you definitely shouldn't be demanding respect from your husband. Your husband should be giving you respect as a woman that allows you to embrace your femininity and embrace the meekness, the humbleness, the peace. Your husband should want to come home to peace and know that you're not going to be combative. You're not going to be spiteful and dangle things over his head. Because at the end of the day, we just want somebody who meshes into our life. And if this person is constantly combative, why would you want to come home to that? Being humble and meek and peaceful is somehow seen as weakness, and it is the absolute complete opposite. Growing up and being an adult, you have to understand when to open your mouth, when not to open your mouth, when to say things and how to say them with the correct tone of voice, with the correct tone of body. If you're a wife, your number one main goal should be to create a peaceful home, a peaceful, nurturing home, whatever that home looks like for you, a peaceful, nurturing environment. You can only do that by being peaceful. You can't create a peaceful environment if you're in a war zone all the time. Understand where your line is and don't allow yourself to get disrespected. But it's okay to shut up. It's okay to not say the first thing that's on your mind. It's okay to not immediately go and grab up those weapons. It's actually more honorable and more attractive to do so. And I already know that there's going to be women in the comments saying, oh, well, my husband lets me say anything I want. Yeah. Just because you can say anything you want doesn't mean you should. Just because I can gripe and complain about my husband did something doesn't mean I should.
This is one of the reasons why sometimes I do not like the preaching of being your feminine energy kind of thing, because they kind of twist it and tell you that, oh, once you bring out your feminine energy or whatever, you're going to be quiet. You'll just be a mumu in the house. Don't talk. If your husband tell you, oh, this is what you should do, accept it. He knows the real thing. He knows he can take the lead. Just be doing anyhow, or just be keeping quiet. Even if you have opinion on what to eat, or maybe even though it's wrong, just bring out your feminine energy and be calming down. This is one of the reasons why I do not like the preaching of feminine energy. I have a reaction on this video, you guys. Let me show you some interesting reaction, then I'll see you guys at the end of the video.
If you're a wife, I have a tip for you. Shut up. That's your tip.
Then why aren't you shutting up? Why aren't you taking your own advice?
You don't always need to talk. You don't always need to fight. You don't always need to be combative. So as a woman, you shouldn't be stepping into a room demanding respect, and you definitely shouldn't be demanding respect from your husband.
Ew, gross. Now, I don't know what goes on in your relationship, but this sounds like projection. This sounds like your own personal issues in your relationship. Whereas my relationship, I'm an active member of my household, and I have the freedom to speak and do as I choose anytime. And who asked you to give your unwanted and unsolicited opinion to other wives about what they should do with their own husbands and their relationship? I mean, why do you have an opinion anyway? Isn't that an oxymoron with tradwives?
Husbands should want to come home to peace and know that you're not going to be combative.
But let me ask you, who was supposed to shut up when both people come home from work? Because the majority of couples in the United States, both people work. So, sis, if you are in a combative relationship, or your husband thinks you talk too much or wants you to shut up when he comes home, and you're okay with him not respecting you, maybe it's a you problem. Maybe he just doesn't really like you, because that certainly isn't the case for me. My husband actually likes me and wants to talk to me. My husband automatically gives me respect the same way that I give it to him. I mean, I could not imagine being in a relationship where my husband wants me to stay silent. So maybe you should start taking your own advice and just shut up. I mean, what are you even doing on social media?
Because as a woman, you shouldn't be stepping into a room demanding respect, and you definitely shouldn't be demanding respect.
Keep your own limitations to yourself. Some of us have self-respect, okay? I see you don't. I understand that. I know that if internalized misogyny was a human, it would be your face there for the definition. And that's actually really sad, because you look young. So one would hope that you would grow up to learn better and know better. But maybe take your own advice while you're still growing and actually, like, I don't know, figuring out how to use this properly. You don't have to hate yourself and shrink yourself in order to be a tradwife. Okay, I'm a married woman that does homesteading myself, and I take up space, and my husband loves me for it. Okay, because my husband actually loves me. That's the difference, I think, between my partner and your partner, and any other trad wife out there that is trying to, tell other women what to do and you need to be silent and compliant and this, that, and the other. Like, your husbands don't actually love you. That's why self-respecting, man-hating women such as myself actually get men that love us, right? Because it's a really, really, when you have self-respect for yourself, that is a really good deterrent for these red-flagged little boys that just want to control women. And I'm sorry that is what you ended up marrying, but hopefully you will get divorced and grow up someday. So until then, don't give advice to people because it's actually not good advice at all, and I don't think anybody should be listening to you. Okay. Back in the kitchen.
Performing tradwifedom on social media is self-infantilization cosplay. There was never a time when women did not work. Domestically or in the family business or on the family farm, women have always worked, and not exclusively in child-rearing capacities. The desire of the legally liberated woman to be infantilized by a man as just a girl is not a phenomenon of our day and age. It is something that is profoundly typical of the human psyche. There's a great book called The Bonds of Love by Jessica Benjamin, and it discusses BDSM, sadomasochism, and dominance and submission in sexual relationships between men and women. And it's not always one way or the other. It's not always predictable who's dom and who's sub, but what is predictable is the human psyche's desire to be small. There is a surplus of subs always, and that is why religion has a foothold in society. Tradwifedom is a fantasy cult where women feel their rights and responsibilities taken from them, and there is a degree of exaltation you feel in not being responsible for yourself, and that is why that content is popular. Next question.
I'm going to say something so ultra woke, I think it's going to make people mad. And I'm not saying I'm 100% right, but I'm saying it's an idea to present and discuss. And that is that I think that women that are obsessed with the concept of traditional child rearing, traditional motherhood, they are living out their fetish in lifetime, and they are forcing other people to partake in it. Those other people being their own children and the community around them. Now, why do I say this? This seems extreme, right? Well, 99% of the lifestyle of traditional motherhood and the throwback to traditional ways of raising children is wanting that dominance of the male in the household. Women do not have their power in that situation. That's why they constantly talk about submitting to their husbands. Their husbands are the leader. They are the homemaker. They are the ones that raise the children. They take care of their husbands. It is reminiscent to me of the movie Secretary when he says, we cannot do this 24/7, 7 days a week. And she says, why not? A lot of people have the dominant submissive lifestyle in the bedroom, but they leave it in the bedroom. I think that a lot of these women that cannot shut their mouth about it, cannot get off social media about it, cannot stop talking about it, they're bringing it into their daily life. This feeling of being taken care of being the center of this household, but not the one in charge. They are giving up full control. They are giving full submission 24/7. However, oftentimes with this kind of immersion into the lifestyle, you have to be fully immersed as much as you possibly can. And what that means is that keeping that power dynamic means going into the time that we most associate with it. And so people live in this old time structure, which is why a lot of people will go to very, very traditional religion, or why they will reject vaccination for their children. But notice they have vaccines done from when they were kids. They'll talk about, living on the homestead, maybe killing their own chickens, all these things, right? And it's because it allows further delusion into this lifestyle that they have. It's harder to have that lifestyle when, you're also like you're submitting, you know, to your husband and all this stuff, but also you have the fastest access and ease of living as a woman as ever. So now you have to kind of give that all up at the same time. But the reason why it's so rich is because, first off, other people are harmed by it, because a lot of women suddenly do not have the means of liberation because you've taught them that this is what they should be living like, instead of having back out plans, a plan B, a plan C. And on top of that, if we want to go down the vaccination route, you're making other kids sick because you want to live in this weird old time era by not giving your kids basic science. And then on top of that, we have dumbass kids because you think you're qualified to homeschool them. All because you want to live out this power dynamic with your husband who wouldn't spit on you if you were on fire. But he really does love having someone make his lunch every day. So maybe he would, just 5 minutes after your face has been burned off. And I'm not saying this is everyone in that lifestyle, but there's definitely quite a few of them. And me personally, I don't want to see no more of that shit. Please.
Tradwives are not courageous or brave, and calling women who critique their lifestyle choices is not women being anti-feminist. Okay, we need to learn what choice feminism is. Okay, choice feminism is the type of feminism that believes that because a woman got to make the choice for herself, that inherently makes the choice feminist. Absolutely not. Okay, yes, making a choice for yourself is feminist. You can still be making anti-feminist choices. Okay, because a big part of feminism is dismantling the patriarchy, and tradwives are actively reinforcing patriarchal norms. Actively, it is in the name. It is being a traditional wife. It is letting your husband make all the decisions. It is being subservient to a man. Feminism stemmed from women being seen as less human as men. We weren't allowed to own bank accounts. We weren't allowed to vote. We weren't allowed to own property. We weren't allowed to make our own medical decisions. A man had to do it because society thought that women were less than. We were less human than men. You are letting a man make all these choices for you. That is not feminist. You are like wrapped in the shackles of the patriarchy, and you're like tricking other people into believing that because you got to make this choice for yourself, it is inherently a feminist choice. It is absolutely not. And I do want to make it known that being a stay-at-home mom or being a stay-at-home homemaker or anything is different from being a tradwife, because very, very often stay-at-home moms still have 50-50 say in what goes on in the house. Tradwives very, very famously are subservient to a man. It's almost like a kink to them. Like you like it, like it turns you on to have a man be like domineering over you, which is fine. Like I'm not here to kink shame, but don't promote it like it's some like end-all be-all way of living and then judge other women for critiquing your lifestyle choice. Oh my God. And then the women that are promoting it a lot of the times have millions of followers on this app and they get millions of likes per video. That is you making an income off of being a tradwife. Tradwives don't make income, baby. It's like you don't even believe what you're saying. It's like you don't actually believe in being a tradwife, okay? Because you are working. When you are filming videos, I don't know if you edit your own videos. If you are filming videos, you are working when maybe you should be just like serving your husband, right? And then you get to make your income and you get to spend your income. You're making an income for the family. That's not very tradwife of you now, is it? Not if you want to let your husband be the end all be all, right? Like it's been driving me nuts these past couple days. Choice feminism, otherwise known as white woman feminism, is very, very often, done. And tradwives are very, very often upper middle class white women, upper class white women. You are so privileged that it's like you are searching for any way possible to be oppressed and to be the victim. Like you want to be like, oh, other women are being so mean to me. You are like searching for it. You are searching for it. Oh my God, it is absolutely insane. I could probably rant about this for like 30 more minutes. This is just like what I'm like thinking right now, but like, oh my God, like no, not every choice a woman makes is a feminist choice. And that's where I think a lot of you get it wrong.
I remember a video of when this woman was preaching in the church, and she said that whenever you and your husband walk into a place and they're asking question or you know the answer, you shut up as a wife. You shut up. You allow your husband to answer the question. Even if he's saying the wrong thing, you keep quiet. You keep quiet. She was teaching the women in the congregation that you keep quiet. Because it's the man, it's your husband, he's the one that's supposed to do the talking. You keep quiet, allow him to express himself. Because she's saying that some wives do not allow their husband, they kind of dim their husband's lights, and they want to be the man or the head of the house and always want to have opinion. They always want to have opinion on things and all of that. And she said that anytime you're in that position whereby they're asking questions and you know the answer, you shut up. You shut up, allow your husband to talk. You know, the kind of preaching they kind of teach women, they tell you be submissive, be humble, keep quiet. You don't have to talk. You don't have to say your mind all the time. Even when your husband is pissing you off, you just keep quiet. Even though you're not happy with whatever is going on, keep quiet. The fact that they always tell women to shut up is annoying. If your husband always demands you to keep quiet all the time, it does not want you. It doesn't like you. You're an adult. You need to express yourself. You need to know what you like. You need to express what you don't like. But the fact that you have to just shut up and say yes, are you in a military zone that you cannot even say whatever you want? So you have to just be saying yes, whatever, or no. I just don't get it. Sometimes these tradwives, they come up with a lot of rules and regulation to suit their, status. Anyway, you guys, what is your take on this video? Let me know your thought about this video down in the comment section. Respectfully, as always, Sugar Mary Davis, and thank you so much for tuning in to this video. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please like and share and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one, guys. Bye.